Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on accelerating learning this summer with PBL and STEM. As you join us, tell us your name, your school, where you are, and if you have some questions already about PBL, STEM, or summer school, you can put them in the chat. You're in for a real treat today. We have some expert educators from Montgomery County Public Schools in Maryland. Thank you, Christine, for being first from the Wisconsin Virtual Academy. The rest of you guys who are joining, please go to the chat. Make sure you hit me to everyone. Tell us who you are, where you're from. If you have a particular question already, give us that. We're just going to wait a minute or two for people to join us. And you can see on the side, the panelists for today, you are in for such a treat. These ladies from Montgomery County Public School are expert educators with hearts for kids, and they've learned a lot from their experience, and they want to share with you so that you can learn from them and not need to repeat their mistakes. Not that they made many mistakes, but that you can move forward in STEM from their learning. So we're just gonna wait a few minutes. We're doing pretty well, 71 participants, and I see lots of people in the chat. Oh, McAllen, Texas, I've been there. Arlington, Indiana, Ohio, lots of people. Wyoming, that's amazing. Mississippi. So we have a great group of people here today, ready to experience and learn from our expert educators in Montgomery County Public Schools in Maryland. So let's go ahead, I think, and get started. I'm Dr. Cindy Moss. I'm the VP of Innovation for Defined Learning. Before I went into Ed Tech, for 10 years, I was the director of STEM in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the 17th largest school system. So I have overseen summer school and STEM, and so understand many of the potholes you can encounter. The people that you're going to hear from today. First, we have Becca Daugherty. This is her 12th year as an educator in Montgomery County, her 7th year in the Title I unit, and she's currently the acting supervisor in the Division of Early Childhood and Title I Programs and Recovery Funds. So she has lots of responsibility. Her primary role is to assist with the implementation of Title I Part A under the Every Student Succeeds Act. She works collaboratively with federal and state agencies, Montgomery County offices, and schools to ensure all components of the legislation are implemented and monitored. And if you're in Title I, you understand that's a really big job. A large part of her role is helping plan for and oversee programs that promote equity and access to students enrolled in Title I schools, including extending learning opportunities, which offer a high quality educational program to students over the summer. Second, you'll hear from Deidre Blake. Deidre has been in education for 19 years, spent the last 8 years with the Montgomery County Public Schools. She's an instructional specialist with the Division of Title I, and she acts in the capacity of a professional learning coach. She supports and leads professional development sessions for 29 coaches who implement the primary talent development program in all the Title I schools, and she provides professional learning to division staff around equity. Dr. Catherine or Kitty Williams is an instructional specialist in accelerated and enriched instruction. She's been in MCPS for 36 years, and I say, wow, that's amazing. She's been doing accelerated and enriched programs for 9 years. She's taught K-5, all grades. She's been a reading specialist. She's taught literacy at middle school. And all three of these ladies are going to share with you what they've learned, how they're making sure that there's equity, that there's STEM for all, and that all kids get and teachers get what they need. So take it away, Becca.
Thank you, Cindy. Good afternoon, everybody. We are very excited to be here with you this afternoon, and we are excited to share our journey and experiences, really incorporating project-based learning opportunities into our summer programs, as well as a little bit during the school year. Through our collaboration with Defined Learning. The first thing I want to do is just to provide a little bit of context and information about our summer programs. We use a portion of our Title I Part A funds, our district funds, to provide summer programs to all students who are enrolled in Title I schools. So over the past several years, we have offered 2 summer programs, and you can see them here on the screen. For students and families. We see both programs as equity strategies to really provide high quality learning experiences, access, and opportunities to students over the summer. And really our focus has been on addressing the summer slide that we know is experienced by students over the summer. And right now, currently, we're really focused on mitigating disruption to learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So our first program is ELO SAIL, our Extended Learning Opportunities Summer Adventures in Learning, which is open to all kindergarten through 5th grade students enrolled in Title I schools. Our areas of focus are really around literacy and math, as well as some other well-rounded experiences. And that's really where that STEM piece comes in and where project-based learning comes in as well. We did implement project-based learning in grade 5 last summer for all of our students who were in the program, in the ELO SAIL program. And it is a 5-week program. Our second program that we've offered in the past is our Title I Enrichment Program. And this is for selected rising grades 3 to 5 students enrolled in Title I schools. And really the goal is to provide an opportunity for traditionally underrepresented students to have some of those increased experiences that will increase their access to advanced programming, acceleration, and enrichment. The focus has been on creative and critical thinking skills as well as STEM. And we incorporated project-based learning through the use of defined learning in grades 3 through 5 who were enrolled in that program. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as shared, our ELO SAIL program is open to all students enrolled in Title I schools. And our goal has really been to make the program as engaging as possible over the summer. We want to make it a fun experience for students, something they want to come to and want to come back to, while still really addressing those critical skills and the academics that students need over the summer. And so we were able to really do this through providing that hands-on project-based learning and enriching learning experiences for our students. So as mentioned, defined learning was really used as part of that core curriculum for students in grade 5, along with their literacy and mathematics instruction. And for grades 3 through 5 in the ELO STEP program, these students were identified centrally using a set of criteria, and they were really determined to be students needing enriched and accelerated programming. And so students were selected based on their academic performance in English language arts, math, and science. And some of these criteria included report card data, such as evidence of acceleration or enrichment in mathematics, as well as their report card grades in science. And also in Montgomery County, we do administer the measures of academic progress or MAP assessments in reading and mathematics. And so we do use the scores in the fall and winter as part of the selection criteria as well. Next slide, please. So after identifying students for the program and selecting them, we want to make sure that we are really communicating and marketing the program to families. Our goal has always been to have as many students as possible benefit from our summer programs and from this experience. And to that end, our initial communication, is an informational flyer to families. It is shared in multiple languages, and it really just provides some kind of general save the date information to families about our programs. It's shared on our Title I website, and then it is shared with our schools as well. We have 37 Title I schools currently, and so our schools really do a great job of getting the information out to families in a way that best meets the needs of their community, whether it's through Connect Ed messaging, principal newsletters. A lot of our schools do video announcements that they post on their websites. We have several staff who support us in these efforts. We have parent community coordinators who reach out to families and make phone calls. And then additionally, some use social media as well to get the word out. But after that word is out, we then send the registration information to families, and those students who are identified for our ELO STEP program are invited to attend. And our marketing to families is truly a collaborative effort, and you'll hear us talk a lot about collaboration. Our central services team, along with individuals from the school, our attendance secretaries, our parent community coordinators, I mentioned, and our community school liaisons, really are critical staff and critical key members in outreaching to families to ensure that all students can benefit from this great experience. Next slide, please, and I'll be turning it over to Deidre.
Good day, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. I see that you're all tuning in from different parts of the world. I see a participant from British Columbia. My nephew lives in British Columbia, so it's good to have everyone. So for our project selection, when we decided on the modules for defined learning that we would use for our summer program, we made sure that we were looking at the standards that students would be covering when they get to the other grade level. Our students are introduced to a preview of the learning standards for their upcoming grade level. Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. So sorry about that. So we made sure that our students, when these are uprising 3rd through 5th graders, so students are introduced to a preview of the learning standards for their upcoming grade level. So based on the modules, they told me that it was louder. Thank you. So based on that, on the modules, we selected the modules based on the standards that students were going to be encountering in that grade level. And we also made sure that we selected modules that were very student engaging, that would really hold students' attention for the summer, knowing that some students were going to in-person learning and what they have encountered with online learning. We wanted to make sure that there was fun in the modules that we selected for our students. And we also wanted to select modules that promote maximum student engagement and that was relevant to their student lives as well. And our program goals for our program, we made sure that we wanted to increase the problem-based learning for our students. Our goal as a Title I office is to provide access and opportunity to students. And so for the past few years, we have been expanding the opportunities that our students have to engage in hands-on learning. Knowing the school year that they had prior, we look to PBL, which gives students ownership of their learning and also promoting risk-taking and exploration. And hopefully it also puts them on a pathway to, for future STEM study and career study. So as a system, all our students do a pre and a post assessment in math and reading. For the first week of summer school, they have a pre-test. And then the last week of school, they also have a post-test so that we could measure success. And some other measures that we used, we had formal measures such as improved performance on the administered assessments. We also did some informal measures such as attendance. We really paid close attention to attendance. We send out a weekly newsletter and we always give a shout out to schools that had the highest attendance rate for the week. We also did family and staff feedback that we gather at the end of the program, and also student engagement, staff capacity. We get all those feedback informally from staff and students as well, and we do some parent showcase at the end. And we do, as a division, we go out and do class visits and do some observational visits as well. Now, the professional development was very key in getting the program ready for the summer because it was our first year using defined learning or PBL. So for our professional development, we started out by having 4 cohorts of for our leaders. These were the coordinators who were in charge of the program at their schools. We had 5 cohorts with 3 training sessions, each along with online PD modules that Defined Learning provided. The first training was in May 26th actually, and the trainings lasted throughout June with 5 sessions that teachers could sign up for. And here on the slide, you will see where we had our central office staff, our site coordinators, and our teacher leaders had different trainings separate from our classroom teachers. And we had 2 different sessions for our classroom teachers. We had teachers who were teaching in person and teachers who were teaching virtually. So we had separate trainings for those teachers. They had to take our MCPS training, and then they also had to take Defined Learning training as well. All our Title I staff took the trainings along with myself. Catherine also took the training so that we were able to support teachers whenever questions came up throughout the program. Next, I'm going to hand it over to Kitty, who will share just some
ways that we celebrated students.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to share some of the work and that the students engaged in over the course of the summer school. Here, what you are seeing is a 3rd grade in-person classroom from the Life Cycles Entomologist Monarch Butterflies module. On the far right is the poster that the students were working on collaboratively in collaborative groups to create a poster based on that criteria that's listed that demonstrates the life cycle of a butterfly. On the left, you see a photograph of those collaborative groups. They read books for researching, they looked at internet sites, they watched videos that were provided by Defined Learning, as well as some other text and articles and things of that nature. And then they worked collaboratively to create a monarch butterfly life cycle poster. Next slide, you see a couple more of the groups that are working collaboratively. On the far left, I'll go left to right this time, you see that the students are storyboarding what they're going to use on their life cycle poster. Some of them used all different kinds of materials, from markers to colored pencils to other kinds of paper and things of that nature. And then on the right, you see some of the individualized work that happened before the students engaged in their collaborative efforts. Next slide. Here is the same in-person experience in 3rd grade for the Monarch Butterflies module. And you see that the students are out on the playground with the chalk, creating a butterfly garden to scale. So they had to work collaboratively, outline a garden for the butterfly, complete with the different kinds of plants that attract the butterfly. And then you can see on the far right how many feet that they are using for the butterfly gardens. So the next slide, I was looking for the tiny houses first. There we go. We'll come back to that other slide in just a moment. So this is an example of a virtual classroom. They were a 5th grade virtual classroom that was working on building tiny houses. But the caveat with this particular module is that they have to create the tiny house to scale, but they also have to make it accessible for somebody who has physical disabilities. So you're going to see in a moment a video of a student that is going to share that. But in addition to actually building the model of the tiny house, they had to create an advertisement. And this is Heidi's advertisement for her tiny house. They had to do some research as well, looking at what is the general cost, what would the payments be. So you can see a lot of that literacy, math, science integration into these different projects. I'll just read this one for you. She says, you should buy a tiny house because it is good for disabled people, because it doesn't have stairs for people in wheelchairs. If it did have stairs, it would be difficult for people with disabilities to get up. So if they want, they can have everything in the bottom so they don't have any difficulties trying to do things by themselves. Also, this ad is good for disabled people because a tiny house has everything down. So there is no stairs. They could have a room, bathroom, kitchen, and other things on the bottom, and also the dining room and everything a normal house has. This last reason you should read this ad is because people that have disabilities can buy a tiny house, and it's good because not only does it does not have stairs, it also doesn't cost a lot of money. So it is good. It would be good for anyone. And if you click to the next slide, you see another advertisement by another student who gives you the average price and wrote this ad as well. Why should you buy a tiny house? Well, you should buy a tiny house because you are spending less money than you would spend on a regular house. For example, you would use less money on furniture and other appliances. A tiny house is perfect for 1 or 2 people. If you buy a tiny house, you are saving up to $10,972. I don't know how they arrived at that figure, but it's very exact. So they must have done some mathematics there. You can also add your own customizations. And so now what we're going to do is, you can go back to the other slide about the guest speaker, and then I'll show the video. So one of the things that teacher leaders, teachers, schools, they reached out to people that they knew that coordinated with those different modules to invite guest speakers and their expertise to share with the students. So in a 5th grade, in the 5th grade for the tiny house module, an architect named Jeff Luker came in to talk with them about how to actually plan for a tiny house, what you would need to do in terms of accommodations for a tiny house, and shared lots of really great information about what an architect does and then how it related to what they were doing in that module. You don't need to click on the link. So as Deidre had mentioned earlier, she had talked about a parent showcase. So in the very last week of the summer school, our students invite their parents in, and this year it was all virtual. So parents were invited to attend a virtual session where the students kind of displayed and showed off what they had learned and some of the projects they had made. So I reached out to Isabella Portella and her family to see if she would be willing to share her video with all of you so you could see her construction of her tiny house and her video explaining how she constructed it and why she made the choices that she made. So I'm going to share my screen now and show you that video of Isabella.
Hello everyone, my name is Isabel and today I'm going to present my tiny house project. So this was the model. This was the original model of the tiny house. So this is the entrance, this is the kitchen, this is the bedroom, this is what I call the relax room. This is the laundry room, and this is the bathroom. And so as I was building my tiny house, I made changes. So the tiny house doesn't exactly match the model now. Okay, so now I'm going to present my actual tiny house. So this is the house. This is the entrance. This is the table. This is a table where you can sit down outside. So this is the door. When you enter the house, here is the kitchen. So this is the microwave. These are the cabinets. This is the dishwasher. This is the oven, and this is the stove. And this is the sink. This is the soap. This is the sponge. This is a tool to help scrub off the food when washing dishes. And this is a giant window. This is the trash can. This is the fridge that can open. Everything opens actually. And then on the other side, on the opposite side of the kitchen, there's a desk with a laptop and a mouse so that the person can study there. And here is a mini table right next to it with a plate and a cup of coffee. And the reason why neither tables have chairs is because I designed this house. So the project is to design the house specifically for a person in a wheelchair. Oh, and this is a plant for decoration. So over here, over here you have the option to go to the bedroom, or to go to the bathroom, or to go to the living room, and the bedroom also leads to the laundry room. So over here, this is the living room with a couch, chair, a coffee table, and a handle or railing for the person in the wheelchair to help the person get up and get onto the couch. And that flower is just for decoration. And this is a window. Over here, this is the bathroom. This is a chair for the person to sit down to take a shower. This is the toilet, and this is the sink. And then this is the laundry room. It's not that detailed, it's pretty basic. So this is the dryer, and this is the washer. And then last but not least, the bedroom. This is a dresser. This is the bed. This is a nightstand with a lamp. This is the railing. And then this is the laundry basket, and that's the whole house. So that was my tiny house presentation.
Isn't that wonderful how she described it and how detailed she was about the choices that she made in the project? It's just wonderful. Okay, I think we're ready for the next slide. All right, so what we wanted to share with you now is some of the feedback that we gathered from both teachers and students. One thing I would like to mention at the parent showcase that I attended, one of the things that both the students and the parents said is the students did not want the summer school to end. They absolutely loved it, and they were just really sorry to see that it had ended. They were hungry to learn more, and that's what we really want, is for them to have that thirst for knowledge and to really encourage some of these STEM careers. And the parents had just wonderful things to say as well. Here are some feedback that we have gathered from our different teachers. And some of the things that they talked about, that the students were super engaged. that they really enjoyed the work in the defined learning modules. And this was in all of the grades, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And we should share that we had a primary module that the students worked on, but we had a secondary module that teachers could instruct from as well. One of the other things that they thought was the website was easy to navigate for both them and the students. It has a nice flow to it. They have a task plan that lays out the entire module, giving them some timeframes and things of that nature. They felt like they were very supported by defined learning. When there were questions and so forth, they could have them answered. And another piece that they really, really liked was the fact that there were rubrics and the standards that were all there for each of the products. And that there were a choice of the different products, and you could customize it to implement all of the projects or just some of the projects, whatever would meet your student needs. And there was a teacher that was implementing the monarch butterfly entomology module, and she just loved it. Her kids loved it, and she loved every aspect of the curriculum. So positive feedback overall from our teachers, our parents, and our students.
Okay, so just some responses from the teacher side, the response to the instruction. Teachers were very excited about using defined learning as the PBL for their 5th graders this past summer. So these were just some of the responses that teachers shared, what it meant for them teaching PBL. Teachers enjoyed teaching PBL lessons themselves. They were able to engage students with fun lessons to keep them interested during the summer, making creativity a priority and having in-person learning, that was key. Having the opportunity to teach students that they would have in the fall. So just being able to see what their students' strengths were, areas of need instructionally and socially. It helped to guide their planning of resources and also for them to see what the focus could be for the upcoming fall. So these were just some responses that they shared. And I will hand it over to Becca just to share some lessons learned from last summer.
Thank you, Deidre. So as you heard, there were many successes integrating project-based learning through use of defined learning last summer. And we even, in fact, had a couple of teachers who asked if they could continue on using the platform and using some of these projects with their students during the school year, which was really exciting to see them bring this into their school year classrooms. Even though we know that teachers already have a lot that they need to cover, they really found that this was a valuable experience for their students and wanted to bring some of these practices into their school year teaching. Some additional highlights and successes that we experienced really were including the cross-curricular integration, which we worked very closely with defined learning staff on, as well as really providing projects that allowed students to make connections to the real world. They were authentic. The problems were things that they may experience in some careers later on in their lives. And so that was really exciting to see. And we really do attribute a lot of the success of the program this summer to our collaboration with the defined learning team. We met with them bi-weekly from, I think, February through June. And they were there to support us every step of the way to really hear about our schools and our curriculum. They met with our technology team to ensure that we had everything set up and ready to go so students could, log into Clever and just get right onto defined learning, or could log right into the defined learning platform. And then also helping to provide training for our leaders and teachers, which Deidre shared. And I think something that was really key was was training our leaders, to have our leaders of the summer programs involved in the leadership cohort, because that allowed them to feel a little bit more comfortable and prepared to support teachers with project-based learning, which is a little bit new for some of our teachers. And so just to have that extra layer of support was really helpful. In terms of some things that we want to upgrade or think about moving forward for this year, we definitely would like to continue on with the training pieces, but focus a little bit more on the platform to ensure that teachers and students can easily get on and jump right into the learning and to the projects. We also learned that we as a district need to be a little bit more strategic in terms of the materials that we select and provide for the projects. As you saw from the tiny house, there was a lot of cardboard used and things like that. And so what we did for our students who were participating virtually is we did a materials distribution, which worked well. This program and project-based learning has worked really well in both the virtual and the in-person environments. We just want to make sure we're getting students what they need so that they can build their models and fully engage in projects. And so our experience was very positive overall. We saw great benefits to incorporating project-based learning into our program. And while our focus this year is really on mitigating disruption to learning, as I shared earlier, we will continue to offer project-based learning in our summer programs through Define Learning as a way to make learning more engaging and meaningful to students and more enriching as well. And you heard the feedback and saw the great project from the student that it was really exciting, engaging, and fun, and that there were lots of skills, real world skills built in to that project or to that content that they were working on together. So we are excited to continue on this journey this summer and are looking forward to exploring ways in which we can help teachers learn how to use project-based learning in their classrooms throughout the school year and the summer, just really to benefit all students. And that's all we have to share.
Thank you so much, ladies. That's amazing. You did an incredible job of really showing your students that you can put the fun back in fundamentals and that you can learn all about careers, because we believe you can't be what you can't see. And I personally believe that summer is the perfect time to introduce PBL to your teachers, where they can see that it is fun, it is real world, and it's very deep learning. If you have any particular questions in the chat room, people are saying that was great. Thank you. It was informative. It was fun and creative, and people loved the Little Girls Project. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm looking to see if we have any questions. Okay, I'll give you a couple more minutes to do that. For those of you who joined us today, thank you so much. The best way to learn about research-based new innovative practices is to hear from other practitioners like these wonderful educators from Montgomery County. We would like to share information with you guys about Define Learning. People were asking me about it. You can go to definelearning.com, you can go to Twitter. And if you look at this at the bottom, you might want to take a picture of this. This is how you get a 60-day free trial of Define Learning to try it out yourself. So take a picture of this, go try it. Every time I show this to an educator, a teacher, or a principal, they get excited. Another thing, Montgomery County, I'd like to compliment you on is training your leaders. That's a piece that many people leave out when they're trying something new, and you really need to train your leadership so they have tools in their toolkit so they can assist their educators. So thank you for doing that and for modeling that that's a great way to make sure that you ensure success. Okay, so those of you that are on here, if you've never seen Define Learning, please go check it out. We want you to have fun and have deep learning for your students as well. Okay, other than that, I'll check to see if there's any other questions that we have. And yes, you will within 24 hours get an email with a link to the recording that you can listen to and you can share with other people. And we encourage you to contact us if you have questions about some of the training, the professional development, or the resource. So thank you so much, Montgomery County Montgomery County leaders. We know it took time for you to put this together. You did a masterful job of sharing with us what you've learned and showing us what you plan for the future. So everyone who was on this, keep calm and STEM on, and know that Define Learning is here to support you if you need our help. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.